listening to 1380 AM 95 KCIM. This is Sports Rewind on National Wear Your Pajamas to Work Day, and I believe both Jeff Blankman and Casey Miners have successfully celebrated that day today. You guys look like you just rolled out of bed.
I did. Yeah.
See?
I've been up since 8, I wish I knew it was National Pajamas Day. You guys wouldn't have let me in here. I had to come in decked out in all my Husker gear.
No. Do you literally sleep in Husker gear?
Yeah.
Wrapped in the glow of Cornhuskers at all moments, Jeff Blankman. Somebody did ask me this morning. I said, "Do you have like a rule that they're there?" I said, "Yeah, we just everybody remain fully clothed at all times. Yes. That's the only rule we have here on Sports Rewind."
Yeah, I did have somebody say to me the other day, and I've got to refigure out some of this stuff. But somebody said to me they missed, even though they couldn't tune us in live, they liked going back and watching the video because they liked seeing how we pointed at each other and lifted hands and just the way we worked together to do the show. So they enjoyed watching the show back when we used to video this live.
Yeah, and those days are coming back, too. I told Pete, we need a camera in the studio, man. Yes. We need to be able to see what these people are doing. So yes. I want to know if somebody's like celebrating Pajama Day.
Yeah. So, I wish I knew it was PJ Day.
Yeah. Well, Casey, you're rolling in here every Tuesday morning in your jams.
Shorts and a sweatshirt.
Yeah. Why not? Even when it's 20 below zero wearing the shorts.
Yeah, I've got my Ludwig Ranch hat on today. So my
sweatshirt.
My hoodie, yes. So
I was promised one of those.
Were you?
Have I seen it?
No. Jean hasn't. Has she not seen you or what?
She might be in the running for my least favorite sports person of the day. I'm just telling you.
She'll get word. You'll have it by tomorrow.
Yeah, probably. She told me she had one for me, but I was like, okay, I'll see. I'll believe it when I see it. So,
yeah.
Where do we want to begin? Let's start with, I guess we're going to start with this.
With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
At what point do you think the money started rolling into their box office for ticket sales and all that? Everybody knew she was going to be when the Fever.
Before?
I was going to say January. I mean, I think she had already kind of exploded by then, but when the Fever really grew in like January,
as soon as she announced formally that she was going to come out.
Yeah, I think the Indiana fans, they started swallowing up tickets.
Did you see the video the Indiana Fever posted on social media last night after the pick? It was like they were having a watch party at their facility or something like that, and like almost all of the players underneath the shirts they had on had Caitlin Clark jerseys on, and as soon as she was picked, took them off and had so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, the ticket prices are exploding even when she's the Fever on the road. Last year they had exactly one nationally televised game. This year they're scheduled for 40.
Right.
So they're going to be covering the Fever wall to wall, and ticket prices like the Connecticut Sun, they saw their ticket prices for that one game jump 91%. The New York Liberty saw it jump 50%, and the ticket prices on the secondary market, like SeatGeek and some of that for the home games, $182, it jumped 136%. The Fever average about just over 4,000 a game. They have an 18,000 seat arena, so
it'll be full.
Yeah, imagine that. They go from the second lowest attendance to, I'm sure, going to be leading the league in attendance.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting because I think that if I remember correctly, this is the last year of the contract for the WNBA with the TV, so they're going to be renegotiating. And now,
what a time for Caitlin Clark to come out!
Absolutely, and not just her. You throw in the rest of that class and stuff.
You look at this class and how, not just the way Caitlin changed basketball, but you look at a Cameron Brink and an Angel Reese and,
Camila Cardoso.
All of the girls that were selected, within the top, 10, 15 picks last night, how they changed the game this year, and it's going to work great for the WNBA.
Absolutely. Here's how crazy it got. Last night, my wife and I sat down and watched the tape delay. I taped the WNBA draft, and we watched it later, and we're like, well, do you think Cardoso's going to go next? I mean, we didn't even know these people like 3 months ago.
Right, yeah. Well, I had to laugh. As you know, I don't really do anything on Snapchat, but one popped up this morning, and it was from Rini, and she was sitting at home watching the WNBA draft last night, and it's like she hasn't cared about basketball in the 40 years or whatever it is that she's been alive, and now she's sitting at home home watching the WNBA draft. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
And another cool moment I think that I saw come from the draft, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but Kate Martin was there,
yes,
supporting Clark, and got to hear her name called in the second round, and I thought that was really cool. Not there for herself,
right?
They're showing support for her former teammate, and got to hear her name called, and I thought that was really cool.
I'm sure she was hoping her name was going to be called, because there was that possibility. But yeah, really cool moment. I thought kind of the other one, and outside of Iowa players or whatever, but Nika Muhl, or however you say her last name from UConn,
I'm not sure.
And stuff.
The Secretary of Defense.
Yes, she gets drafted last night, and Aaliyah Boston is up there helping interview her on stage, and the lady that was doing the head of the interview said, "So who's one or maybe two players you're really looking forward to playing?" And all she did was turn and look at Aaliyah, and they all started laughing, and Aaliyah's like, "What?" And she's like, "When I was a freshman, you swatted one of my shots up into the stands, and I haven't forgotten." And I just thought that was kind of a cool moment. Here's this, like 4 years later, she hasn't forgotten that one moment.
You posterized me, and I'm going to get you back for that one.
Yes, and then for all the Iowa fans, the next lady she said was, "Well, Diana Taurasi likes to talk a lot of smack, so I can't wait to match up with her."
Tell you, it was funny. It's when you see all they're all dressed up, all their Prada for Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
They did kind of look like someone were like, "I'm not used to wearing heels," so like they grew up in a gym. They wear tennis shoes all the time.
Yes.
That would be an awkward feeling. But Caitlin Clark immediately switched from heels to her UGG slippers to do the rest of her interviews with. I thought, there's a totally Iowa thing to do. I'm shocked she didn't break out the cargo shorts.
Yeah,
hoodie and a cargo shorts.
I can't imagine going, and trying to walk in those kind of shoes if you don't do it on a regular basis, especially for something that's big like that, because you're going to be walking across the stage, and to be uncomfortable with what you're walking in, that would be really, really tough.
Yeah. Cool, though, last night to see it. I did, I only made it through about 7 or 8 picks. And I went, okay, I don't know these people after this, so I was out on that one. But it was very cool to watch that.
And I've got to give a shout out, Nebraska.
Thank you for raising your hand to talk, by the way.
You're welcome. Nebraska had never had a women's basketball player drafted. Jazz Shelley became the very first last night. So as a Husker fan, congratulations, and that's awesome. Yeah.
So. How's the bowling team going?
They ended up making the national tournament. Did not make the Final Four this year. They were ranked 5th, and they got knocked out in the round 8.
Casey, I knew he would have an immediate response for that.
You follow whatever you want to. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm a Husker fan, man. It doesn't matter what sport it is. If it's Huskers, I'll follow it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit there and watch the Big Ten and hope bowling's on. That's just me.
Ooh, bowling up next. I can't wait for that. Let's do my least favorite sports person.
Yes.
I got a tie, I think, here.
Okay.
And Gene Ludwig, you're not.
I thought you were going to throw her in there.
No. There was. It's either Tom Brady. There's reports of him coming back.
Right.
CBS is reporting, hey, Tom Brady might come back, and he might come back to the Vikings.
Okay.
That's the prime spot for him. It's like, being a Vikings fan, I'm like, come on, this is ridiculous. Would I take him in a heartbeat? The man wins championships.
Right.
So I would take him back in a heartbeat. But, I was like, you're retired, just stay retired for me. But it's either that one or that obnoxious lady at the WNBA draft last night. For anybody who watched it, there was a lady in the front row dressed all in white. I don't know what she was watching, but man, she was up like dancing around and pointing and being overly exuberant, and it was just super annoying. So, and every time we watched it, it was like, lady, sit down, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I wish I could help you. I
didn't even watch the draft last night.
Yeah. I saw highlights and video clips of it coming out.
See, there's a reason
YouTube.
for that. You guys are actually out covering sports.
Yes, but that's interesting. Now, the question I've got for you with Tom Brady, I heard part of his interview the other day, and he said that, he goes, well, I would never say that I wouldn't come back, maybe, like for a part-time basis. And I'm like, part-time basis in the NFL? I'm like, how do you do that? It's like, stick me out there for like 1-2 series a game, or how to...
I'm thinking every third down.
Yeah,
just let him throw the ball.
Yeah, because he kind of talked like, he's still in really good shape, but he doesn't know if his body could handle an entire season. So it's like, what's part-time? I didn't quite understand what part-time in the NFL could be.
It's just the media trying to get some NFL news buzzing. I know, but I don't.
He's supposed to be like an analyst this year, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, he's supposed to be.
Yeah, I think Fox News.
I think he's a little bit like Aaron Rodgers. He likes to have the, he likes to have his name thrown out there. So, Aaron does whatever he can to stay in the media. And,
when you see Kirk Cousins pulling down $50 million a year with the Falcons, you're thinking, I could just pocket a quick 50, and then retire again.
Yeah, I don't think he needs any more, though. He's worth probably close to $1 billion himself anyway.
Probably be the third person ever to retire, unretire, come back and retire again.
Yeah.
Meet Muhammad Ali. Every boxer has done that about 1 million times, I think. But quit teasing me, Tom Brady. You're my least favorite sports person of the week this week. So.
I swear we need to find a sponsor for that. I do. I almost look forward to.
Anybody want to sponsor the negativity on the show? Come on.
You'll find somebody, I guarantee it. Pete, get to work.
Trivia question this week. NBA playoffs are getting going. The play-in tournament. Nick Nurse, 76ers are involved with that. They'll take on, I think it's Miami.
They're a scary team in the playoff tournament.
Yeah, they're getting healthy now because Embiid is back and all that stuff. So, and so Nick is going to make a run with the 76ers. But the Celtics, they have been the team this year in the NBA. They got 64 wins, 25th team in NBA history to reach 64. What is the NBA record for wins in a season?
Oh, that's pretty easy.
Oh, you already got it already. Casey, you got it?
I think so, yeah.
All right, well, let's just do it right now. What do you think?
Okay.
The Warriors was 73.
Yep, Golden State 73 because they knocked off the Bulls.
I knew that one was too easy.
Yes.
And I knew you knew the Bulls because you were a Bulls guy.
Yep. Well, and I'm also, even though they're not like one of my favorite teams, I really liked that. I liked the Warriors team before Kevin Durant. Not that I was against the Durant thing, but the way they shared the basketball when Harrison Barnes and Klay Thompson and Steph and those guys were there, they were a lot of fun to watch. Mm-hmm. Everybody talks about the ISO and they don't like watching the NBA game. I'm like, you go back and watch that Warriors team from 8-9 years ago, and man, they shared the basketball and they distributed and played a really, really fun brand of basketball.
Now that I think about it, I'm gonna change my mind. I'm not gonna make Tom Brady my least favorite. You guys are my least favorite now for ruining my trivia question and swatting it away like it's nothing.
But you usually come up with one.
Casey and Jeff, my least favorites. The rest of the show should go well.
You can feel the animosity.
Yeah. All right, should we talk local sports
for
a while here?
Absolutely.
All right,
yeah.
Go.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Let's start golf, Casey. You and I've kind of talked throughout this spring that we thought we could have some really good boys golf teams, and so far 3 of them have kind of jumped off the board and have gone and done really well. Kemper boys win the Spencer tournament yesterday with 15 teams up there and had a really good day. We knew that they were going to be deep. Coon Rapids Bayard boys, after having kind of a rough outing early last week for the first time all year, talked with Coach on the phone last night a little bit, and they kind of adjusted some things that he's like, part of it's on me, part of it's on the kids. It's kind of everybody's fault, and they had a conversation, and they went out and golfed really, really well. And the Audubon boys, you saw them earlier this year. They're kind of tearing things up. So 3 teams right there that they've got good depth and they're golfing really well.
I would even throw in Carroll. I mean, Carroll, I don't think they've had a medalist yet this year, but they got a bunch of guys that are shooting in the 40s. That's going to win you a lot of meets.
Coming off a tough one yesterday, took 13th up at Spencer.
Yeah, so. And that's an 18 hole tournament, and you're golfing at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. So not used to what the normal 4:30. But I think Kemper's done really good. Maverick Schwabe's, I think, either medalist or runner-up at almost every meet so far. Yep. Edward Miller for Audubon's picked up 2 medalists this year. I think he didn't get one their last time out, but the Audubon's got 4 guys that can shoot in the 40s and the low 30s. So I think the Wheelers are going to be a really dangerous team.
Yeah. And that's all in a brutal wind season so far. I mean, this weekend was windy, but it was nice and sunny and warm. But the rest of the weather's not been great for golf.
It hasn't. It hasn't. And all the coaches that we talk to kind of talk about that trying to keep the ball low. And I'm like, hey, this is perfect weather for me. I'm a worm killer guy, so my ball never gets off the ground. It rolls everywhere I hit it. So
trust me, I've played with them. That's true.
Yeah. So, but and then on the girls' side, of course, Addie Bell's had an outstanding year like we knew she was going to. Elsa Tiefen's Siegenthaler is golfing really well. Addie Biter's coming on and playing well up at Kemper, and Delaney Shirky's kind of been leading Carroll High so far. And some of the other girls as well kind of stepping up and playing well so far this year.
Yeah, Addie Bell won the meet last night, I believe. I was typing up the girls golf, so she got a first place finish there and won by like 4 strokes, so that's pretty good. Elsa also was runner-up but tied with, I think, a girl from Harlan. That's what they played last night. A girl from Harlan. They were playing out of the Muni and ended up getting second place, but still shot a 48. And I think they were on the back nine. The back nine's challenging at the Muni, so good to see Elsa golfing good. And she's been their best golfer so far this year. I mean, Addie's been a little slow, but she's getting there. She had a 50 last night. So, I think both, look fully at the board individually. We have a lot of good golfers in the area.
Yeah, and ESAC girls are golfing well. Sydney Barrett's been having a really good year. Soccer-wise, it's been a little bit up and down for our area in soccer, but I think Isaiah Aragon has had a terrific year on the boys' side for the ESAC boys. Kenna Meyer is playing really well on the girls' side. Carson Caney's been kind of tearing things up, and then you got to give our goalies a lot of credit. There's times like last night, Tanner Heidoff faced a lot of shots and played well in the goal. So sometimes it's not always how many goals are against. Sometimes it's how many shots they have to face every night.
Yeah, well, when you have to face 30-some shots and you're only giving up 10,
yes,
kind of like those odds. But it's. Yeah, I think our soccer, as you mentioned, has been up and down this year. Kemper has looked really good, and then there's times you're like,
right.
But then I think same with you can say that about ESAC, and you say that about Carroll, But I still think all girls and boys teams are going to have a decent year.
I agree. And then we'll move over to tennis. You and I talked a couple of times on the phone as we were typing things up last night. What a run for both of the Kemper tennis teams. I typed up the boys stuff last night. They beat Harlan, swept every single one of the singles matches, 8-love. Won one of the doubles matches, 8-love. Won the other two, 8-1. You look at that. They went 72-2 in games played last night in a 9-0 sweep of Harlan. 72-2. They dropped 2 games.
I don't know if I've ever seen that kind of line on a tennis match.
I have never seen anything like that in all the years that I've been following.
I think the girls were like 72-10 maybe. Yeah, right. So they beat Harlan pretty bad last night too. And both of them have looked really good. I think the girls team's been surprising because we didn't quite know what they were going to have. But Kaylee Simons has been great. Charlotte Schwabe as a freshman's been great. Ella Schwarty missed that first meet, but she's been great. Brooke Roy's been good. Sophia Tigran's been a surprise. The girls have looked really, really good.
Yeah, they've showed they've got depth this year, and then they're certainly going to be a team to contend with.
Yeah, you look at those matchups, and it's kind of like you need to go out and play well, even though the competition they have a tendency to drag you down.
Right.
Maybe you don't look against not lesser competition, but you go out, you dominate like that, you got to feel good coming out of that one.
I didn't play, of course, tennis in high school. We didn't have a team, but we had tennis courts just a block away from where I lived, so I played a ton of tennis growing up as a kid, and knowing sometimes playing against some of my friends that were not very good, it's really difficult to kind of stay in a rhythm when you serve and they hit it into the net, and you serve and they hit it into the net, and then every now and then they get one over, and you have to actually still be mentally focused. So sometimes when you're playing against somebody else that's really struggling, it's really difficult, like you said, the mental part of it to be as focused as you need. And
don't let your game drop just because you're playing that kind of competition.
Yeah, but it certainly sounded like both of the Kemper teams did a really nice job with that. And we've both gotten a chance to go down and see Audubon. I saw the boys, you saw the girls. I think both of those teams, you can see the progress and the growth, and I think there's a kind of a renewed excitement, for tennis down at Audubon.
Yeah, Briley Belknap's been playing singles really well, and Briley has been playing singles really well for him so far this year. I'm trying to think. There was another girl down there that I interviewed, and I can't think of her name right now. Was it Rachel? Yes.
Rachel Reinierson?
Yeah, and she had I think was the played number 4 singles when I went down there and won 8-0 against the same Harlan team that Kemper just beat. So, I think the girls have been playing really well in the singles. Doubles has been kind of a struggle, I think, for them right now. But, you look at some of their scores, and they're there. They just got to get over that hump.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of the same thing with the boys. boys. I know Isaac Jackson as that number one's been, seeing some really tough competition and is playing well against him. He's picked up some wins, but I think he's kind of continuing to grow and stuff. But I like that team. I like kind of where the program's headed, and I think having kids from Exira and also kids from ICAM Manning coming in and participating, especially on the girls' side of things, has kind of increased the competition a little bit and increase the energy level, and stuff with those programs. And you look at the two coaches, and Mackenzie Nissen on the girls' side of things and Marissa Soder on the boys' side of things, and they're passionate about it, and they put in a lot of work. I teased Marissa when I was down there this last time. She now has an assistant coach this year, but last year when I was down there watching them, a kid would finish a match, and if she was on court 1, she would sprint down to court 4 because you only get like a minute to be able to talk to the kids in betweens. When there's flipping sides, the coaches can talk to them for 45 seconds to a minute. So she was literally sprinting all over the place, and I says, are you still going to get your steps in this year, having an assistant coach that's talking to half of the kids? And she laughed and she says, I'll still get them in. But that's, I think when kids see that the coaches are that willing to put in that kind of an effort,
it helps them out.
It helps them out, absolutely.
How's the weather been affecting everything? There's nothing going on today, I guarantee you that. That's with all the rain showers moving in. We got some heavier rain showers coming in from the south.
Haven't gotten anything canceled yet, so we're holding out hopes. But it's been
that
rough.
thunder goes off right now.
We literally, for last week was really the first week that we had where we had a good week for stuff getting in. Now that doesn't mean the wind has been horrible at almost every track meet and golf meet, even the tennis matches. Soccer's been affected, but I know down at the field house for Kemper, I think it can still be really effective. It's different when at the stadium now compared to what it used to be when they played out by the middle school. If the wind was out of the north and you were going to the north, just expect you didn't get a shot the entire half because you couldn't get the ball. Pat, you played you played up there and stuff. So, but the weather hasn't been great for the spring sports season. Even the nice days, temperature-wise, like yesterday, I was at the track meet in Glidden. You were over, not in Glidden and Denison. You were over at Jefferson. That 40-mile-an-hour wind or 30-mile-an-hour wind across the backstretch. I'll just tell a funny story. I'm trying to think of who it was I was talking to right now. Jonathan Rieselman from Arweva opened the 4x2 for him yesterday, and so he gets off and he's coming around the curve and he's flying, and he goes, he's like, wow, he says, I was really gaining on the guys, and all of a sudden I'm like, why are the guys in front of me really slowing down? And then he goes, I got around the rest of the curve and that wind hit me. And he went, now I know why everybody in front of me is really slowing down. It just, that wind yesterday, it just, when you came out of that curve number 2 and hit that back stretch, it literally darn near stopped you.
Like a brick wall you were hitting there. So we got to take a break real quick here. I really wish the lightning and the thunder would have happened when he was talking about Nebraska. That'd been hilarious. But no, it happens when we're talking this.
God cares about the Huskers.
I'm not willing to go that far. But we'll be back with more KCIM Sports Rewind.
As the athletes at your house prepare for hard work and fun of the season, remember that St. Anthony Rehab Services provides physical therapy for any sports injury that may sideline your member of the team. Sports injuries can plague kids of all ages and keep them from playing the sport they love. Athletes will be under the direct supervision of a certified and licensed healthcare professional in the newly renovated sports performance facility. If an injury is keeping your athlete out of the game, call St. Anthony Rehabilitation Services at 794-5000 for sports injury and treatment rehab.
Yep, cue the house band. Bad Authority, in case you didn't know that. It's called Born Into Wrong.
Yeah,
so,
missed those guys. Wish they were still around. By the way, John, got to give you a little hard time. We were going to open up this morning. We didn't.
My least favorite sports
That's
person.
Good. And I'm hoping that I can get into that further. But we were going to give somebody a hard time this morning because we couldn't start early. This morning.
Right.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. I was thrown off by the whole pajama day thing. Yeah. Alan Alan Honlos. We are not wasting an extra 23 seconds of your life today, so
yes.
You are welcome.
Yes. Yeah, we were going to go on, 40-some seconds early.
We were going to be like a minute early.
Yes.
Like, oh, no, Alan Honlos told me we cannot waste more of his life.
Yes. So thanks to Alan, we didn't start till exactly 9:30 this morning.
All the rest you penalized thanks to Alan.
And by the way, Nathan, who's sitting in the next studio, must be listening because he just sent me a message and said, God really does love the Huskers.
I'm sure that's exactly what that is. Die-hard Cyclone fan said, yep. I'm going to back up that Husker claim that Blakeman just made. Anyway, news and notes. You guys got some folks that signed to play on the college level and got some interviews coming out.
Yeah, it's early this morning, but we had 3 last Friday. I'm trying to remember.
Brock Natras and KCIM Pierce.
Yeah.
Brock from SEC, KCIM from Kemper. Both of them.
Kaylee Timmerman from South Central. All going to Iowa Central.
Yep. Brock and KCIM are going to go play football.
And Kaylee's going to wrestle.
Yep. So nice to see the kids signing. Yes. I think especially Brock and KCIM, they were excited. They had other options, but decided staying closer to home was going to be good for them. And both of them looking to play the offensive side of the ball, probably redshirt this year. Both of them talked about needing to get on a little more extra muscle and some weight to play the positions that they want them to play. So, good for them to realize that they got to go up there and put on some weight to compete.
Most kids stepping it up.
Yeah.
They
are.
Oh, yeah. Their football programs had a lot of success, as soon as I stepped on campus, they started having success. That's all I'm going to say.
They were really good back in the 80s when I was
You're
there
not
under
making
Coach.
that claim.
I'm not making that claim. I'm just going to say.
Yeah.
You just take it as you will.
Yeah, Coach Paul Shoup had a really great program back up there in the 80s.
Twait was good,
Twait
too.
was good up there as well. So, they've had some success.
But you don't hear about them getting too many athletes from around this area. I mean, it's because a lot of them have gone to, like, the GPAC schools.
Yes, absolutely. And I think you're starting to see a little bit of a swing, on some of that again. We've had a lot of softball players, basketball players, soccer players go there. Now we're starting to see, the football players heading back up there. And for anybody that wants to know, we do audio interviews. We call all of the kids that we find out that have signed, and we set up an interview. So those 3 interviews from last Friday are posted. Go to our sports website at sports.1380kcim.com and go on the College Corner, and you'll find all of the interviews that we've done. And if anybody knows of any other college kids that are signing or going to sign, don't hesitate to shoot us a message and let us know. It's tough sometimes with 10 schools to be able to unless the kid lets us know, or the AD or the coach or something lets us know, or we see it on social media, it's tough to find it. So we never are upset when somebody shoots us a message and lets us know.
All right, let's talk a little track. What's been going on there?
Evan Adams broke a school record twice.
Back-to-back meets.
Yeah.
Nice.
In the discus for Kemper, he has just been absolutely tearing things up.
The USD commit, right?
Yes. Yes.
Go Yotes.
They're getting a fun one. We've got a lot of kids in track. It's going to be hard to run through all of the names, here quick. But
I think especially in field events, we've got a lot of kids do really well.
We've got a lot of kids doing extremely well. I think the other thing that jumps out to me, and kind of talked to you about it, you went and covered that meet over at Greene County yesterday. We've got a lot of relays that are doing well, and a lot of times we talk, about the Marie Days and the Ryan Norse and the Jacob Gravings, because it's easy in the individual events to go, oh yeah, they're dominating the individual events, and stuff. And we've got a lot of kids like a Marison Wittrock, a Libby Perkins, a Brenna Goins, an Abe Holzine over at IKM Manning, a JC Gravy up at South Central Calhoun, that don't really get into individual events. They run in relays, and their relays are always winning it. But it's hard to wrap around sometime when they're amongst other kids that are in those events. But we've got some really good relays and some kids that are really good relay runners.
Yeah, I think that we could push for a lot of kids at the state track meet this year.
Yep.
One note, Emma Coleman threw a 40 in the shot put last night. That's her best for the season.
After winning the Jim Duncan over the weekend.
Yeah. So Emma is throwing the shot put really well.
Amy Brown does a really nice job with the throwing program up there.
Yes, she does. I saw her. Emma was sitting there throwing one time, and I don't think anybody was more excited when she got the 40, and Amy's just sitting there clapping her hands after she got done with the iPad. And Amy was a teacher of mine, so Amy really cares about.
That's one of the things that I think goes unnoticed. You see it in some sports, you'll see the football players running off, and the coaches now, the younger athletic ones, will jump into the air and do the side bump or the chest bump with them and stuff. But you watch it track. Like I was over at Denison last night, and there was a young lady, don't know who she is. Of course, she was from Maple Valley, Anthenoto, but she must have broke her PR or done something really special. But it was a heck of a jump. But she literally gets out of the sand and runs over to her coach, and they high 10 in the air, and you could just see the absolute thrill that the coach had for the young lady for the jump that she just had. And it's really cool when you kind of stand back and see that, and how much these coaches a lot of times really care about the kids that are competing for them.
And I think you see that on the track level a lot, because there's so much individual that goes into it, that these coaches get to work with the kids one-on-one so much, compared to basketball and football and volleyball and the other sports. It's a team aspect, but with track there's that team, but there's also that individual aspect to it. So
it's kind of like wrestling in a way. You see wrestlers win something and they run over and jump into their coach's arms. Those kind of celebrations are awesome.
By the way, we need to dismiss Alan Hunlos from listening right now, because we're going to run over the top of the hour.
Yes.
So Alan, you're free to go.
Yes.
But it is really, really cool to see kind of those athletes be able to do that. Your videos, when you go out and shoot track, a lot of these kids are like, oh, they're just kind of walking around smiling and stuff. And it doesn't look like a lot of work, but they're putting in the work. Trust us.
Yes, absolutely.
And the videos are cool, by the way.
Yes, thanks. I enjoy doing them. I'm hoping to shoot another one here soon and stuff. But a lot of fun. Thanks to Tyler Bruner for kind of getting me started on doing that. So
now he's hooked on it. So there you go. Anything coming up this week that we need to talk about? Or
ESAC Kemper's supposed to play soccer tonight, and a girls-boys doubleheader. That should be good if weather permits.
If the weather holds out. So. Absolutely, And then
if it's not raining at the time, they're playing it here?
No.
It's in Wall Lake.
It's in Wall Lake.
Yep. So, and don't forget to check out our coach interviews as well. I literally have Brian Case right now, but I told him it might be a few minutes after 10 o'clock. But we're catching up with all the coaches. It's boys week this week, so all the boys coaches are this week. Girls coaches were last week and stuff. But you can go to the podcast center to be able to find interviews and stuff. Just had a nice one with Tony Conkler earlier this morning about the Audubon boys track team. So
all right, just go to sports.1380kcim.com to find all that and more, or download that sports mobile app, CB Sports Network, in your app store. That is KCIM Sports Rewind.